I want to show you how I use watercolor pencils, a paintbrush, and my scratch tools to add color on my scratchboard pieces. Check it out. I am currently working on this fun piece. I initially thought I would just do black and white, but as I'm working, I want to add some color here and there. Still have a lot to do in the fur, but I wanted to focus in on the eye here, so let me show you. Okay, I've got a little water nearby and I've got my brush, so I'm just gonna dip in the water, dab it off a little bit on a paper towel. I'm gonna grab the color I want to use. I like to do this two ways. I will just grab a little bit of pigment onto my brush here, dab it a little bit on the paper towel because sometimes it gets to be too much, and kind of just dab it on, paint it on. If it gets a little too thick, I'll dab at it with the paper towel again. And come over here too. Kind of want to work on both at the same time. So I'm just dabbing that on. Might let it dry a little bit. Another way I can do this is just to have strictly water on here and move around what's already there. I use my finger a lot. So I want to add a bit more of a shadow up at the top of the eye. So I'm going to pull down. Just a little piece of paper towel here. Some of this. Another way I do this to show you how I'm adding some shadow here at the top of the eyelid is I take my watercolor pencil. This color is dark indigo. I'm going to actually dip it into my water. Just dip the pencil. I'm going to dab it off a little bit. Not too much, but just a little bit. And then let's zoom back in here. Maybe. And I want to get even closer there. Come on. Okay. I am working on a clay board, in case you're wondering. So the Scratchbord is basically clay board coated with black India ink, and you scratch at the surface to bring forward your image. And then you can go back in and add color in various ways. Liquid inks. I used a little bit of my markers in the beginning to add a base layer to the color of this eye, but the detail, I like to use these. I have found my watercolor pencils work best. So now I've got a little bit of that down because it's watercolor pencil. If you even just go back with a little bit of water on this brush, it's gonna start moving it around. So I pretty much dried my brush off. It's got very little moisture to it, but just enough that it's gonna let me move this. I like to use my finger because I feel like it gives me a little more control. Okay. And then what I can also do is come back in with my scratch tools when I'm ready to bring back in some of the texture. So I want to bring some of that highlight back in that I lost. So I'm coming in with my ceramic blade tool here. I'm just going to add that back in a little bit. Okay. I still have a ways to go, but let me know if you like the technique where I use the brush and pull off some of the pigment off the pencil and then paint it on, or the other option, which is actually dipping your pencil into a little bit of a water, dabbing that off and drawing it on. Both, I use both really, but maybe there's one you like more than the other, or give it a try and let me know how it goes. Bye.